I heard something kind of profound earlier today on a podcast I was listening to. I'll link the video in the description. Um, it was a Dr. K and Chris Williamson podcast, number 1007, I believe. Um, it was kind of describing the pathway of how sadness becomes anger, becomes depression, where um, at first you may become sad to try to signal help, but the moment that the help is unhelpful or just doesn't exist, then it turns into bitterness and anger as kind of a motivator, because anger is highly motivating. And the moment that that anger becomes unsafe either for you or for others, or that it's just not an emotion that is appropriate for the situation, and like of course you were going to repress it, when that happens, it kind of turns into depression because, and something that had mentioned that Freud had said that depression is anger turned against the self. That kind of makes sense. And the reason that that makes sense, to me at least, is personal experience. Is as a young kid, um, I would often be very sad, but instead of expressing that sadness, because I knew that there was nothing that could be done, I kind of just repressed it. And eventually that sadness turned into anger, and I was incredibly angry with both of my parents. I was incredibly angry with the world in general. And I knew that both of those were incredibly unfair at the time. I unfortunately, I still expressed it a little bit, but oh, not a little bit, quite a lot. But eventually, like, I recognized that as being not something that is good. So then I consciously decided to turn that anger inside, where instead of being angry at either one of my parents or being angry at the world, I was just angry at myself. And that lasted for a little while until eventually it just naturally, I guess, fermented, for lack of a better term, into depression. And unfortunately, that's still a habit that I keep to this day. I don't really get angry externally so much as I just die internally. And that's why that was something that was so fascinating, is because he was describing a process that I have witnessed myself, um, in myself, and I just thought that it was something that I had done. I didn't recognize it as being the process that happens, and why so many men nowadays are struggling with depression and suicide is that exact process. I don't know, just something that I thought was fascinating. Again, I'll post the video in the description. Um, but yeah, just something to share.